Hello, beautiful collective. Welcome in, welcome in. So happy you're here today. We're going to be doing a total lunar eclipse reading. Sometimes we do readings that, have ties into other people, or are about what's going on in the background of your life. But today's reading is brought to you by the letter U. Actually, today's reading is brought to you by your holy ancestors, your guardian angels, and your Holy Spirit team, and it's about you. So, we're going to get deep into what's going on in your energy, what you need to kind of look at or be aware of before this solar eclipse in the next 2 days, which happens to be on September 7th. And if you are in North America, as far as I understand, none of us in North America are going to be able to actually see it. However, it's happening during a blood moon, and the energies are going to affect you nonetheless. So, this is a great time to be reflecting on what it is that we have learned, and what we may need to work on as we go through this eclipse season, because we do have two eclipses. Another one is coming up fairly soon. So this one is more about what lessons have you learned, what karmas are coming up, what patterns are coming up to be revisited, so that you can work on them, so that by the time we hit our next eclipse, you're able to fully let go of that pattern, or there may even be things that you're being called to do right now to let go of certain things or people or places, situations, whatever you would like to refer to in your life. But we're going to dig deep into these energies and see what's going on. All right. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I appreciate you being here today and checking out the video. All right. I'm going to clear the space. You won't be able to hear the bell because my camera cuts it out, so no need to turn your volume down. Whoa. I almost choked on my own saliva there. I got too excited. I was going to say something, but apparently I shouldn't say that. Hmm. Okay, we won't then. We're going to start with this Spirit de la Lune deck here, this Oracle deck. I've pre-shuffled all the cards, but sometimes I'm guided to reshuffle a deck here or there. Oh, maybe that's why. I think I forgot to take out a couple of things in here. Hold on one second. Whoopsies. These are just like information cards that I normally flip upside down so I see it when I pull the deck out, but I didn't do that. And that one. Okie dokie. Okie dokie, artichoke. We are ready to go. All right, Holy Spirit. We're tapping into the um, total lunar eclipse energy for the collective. What is it that is coming up for the collective right now? Hmm. What is it that's coming up for the collective right now, Holy Spirit? Hmm. I just heard move. Ooh, that card wanted to come out. Some of you might need to get moving, or maybe you're feeling anxious, like you need to be doing something. Maybe you're moving too fast through life. Um, maybe you're feeling, excuse me, I probably should have coughed up that that saliva that I choked on seems to be coming up now. Um, some of you may actually be literally moving or thinking about moving. See what comes up with this energy, that one. Okay. Hmm. Pardon me. Wow. Wild card. Ooh. Okay. Rebirth. Devotion. Preparation. Okay. I'm hearing two more cards. What are they preparing for? Okay. Oh, that's two cards. Oh. Hmm. Okay. So we have a wild card. Okay. Then we have rebirth. The lighting in here seems a little off today. All right. And then we have devotion. Hopefully you guys can see these okay. And we have preparation. A little sideways. There we go. All right. And what you're preparing for is B and the lover. Might be a little more shaky than normal. I had a little too much coffee. I didn't get a good sleep last night, and so then today I drank some more coffee, but I probably should have just stopped at one coffee and I had two, so now I'm a little bit like we'll see how this comes out today. All right, Holy Spirit, I'm going to put these cards together. What is it that you want to channel through here with these first three cards? Oh, and interesting, we have the blood moon here. This rebirth card is the blood moon. Oh, okay. All right. So, I just heard from Spirit that this this period between the two, and that's kind of what I was talking about in the beginning, the period between the two eclipses is a chance for rebirth. But we've got this wild card here because this is really going to be up to you. This is what this is representing, is that you likely have had a lot of things coming to the surface. Maybe they're patterns or behaviors or limiting beliefs that have been coming up lately. And it might seem as though there's a lot coming up to the surface all at one time. And it's because of the energy of this blood moon specifically, which is then completely mixed with this total lunar eclipse. It's bringing forward your shadow side, right? So anything that has been left unresolved, unhealed, um, maybe that you've suppressed, that you've pushed into the shadow, that you've been avoiding, anything like that is going to be coming to the surface and it's going to be coming up fairly quickly. So it might feel overwhelming. The energies might be really strong. There may be energies of lack or doubt or fear coming up to the surface. And these are things that you're being asked to with devotion, right? To devote your time to at this time. Everything else that's not important, that's not necessary to keeping your life running, this that can be pushed aside. Okay. With this wild card, what it's representing is your choice in the matter as to whether or not to take this opportunity for rebirth, because that's what it is. It's an opportunity for you to step into a different timeline, a different version of yourself, a different self-concept, I just heard, and self-realize, self-actualize. So there are epiphanies coming forward, there are truths, there are hidden aspects of yourself that have been lying in wait for quite some time that are going to be coming up. And I say quite some time because I see also, well, I said it before I even saw that, but in this card, I don't know if you can see, but it's full of cobwebs. Okay. So there's cobwebs all the way around, and there's cobwebs in here as well. Um, and so that represents something that's been sitting there or stagnant or being has been pushed into the shadow for quite some time. There's also, oh, I just noticed there's also a bunch of bones here. Um, and crystals, which all represent lapse in time, a long time passing, right? So to form a crystal, that takes a very long time for a crystal to actually be formed. Um, for a body to be decomposed of any kind of body, I'm not talking about humans, but specifically, but any kind of body to decompose and to be left as bones takes quite some time. All these cobwebs from cob spiders takes quite some time to develop in an area, right, before it becomes an issue. So these are all things that are coming up to the surface to be revealed to you as your own personal truths. These are things that you've been carrying for far too long, and the universe is saying, okay, you have this opportunity between the two eclipses to to bring this stuff, allow it to come to the surface, to demonstrate to yourself your own devotion, right? To be devout to not only allowing the things to come up, to feel them, to process them, but to do your shadow work, to do, and that's a lot that's coming up, right? This is all shadow work. This is all limiting beliefs. This is doubt, anything that's holding you back from pardon me, from being that highest version of yourself is coming up right now. And so take note of it, take stock of it, jot it down every time you have something that comes up that's conflicting within you, that triggers negative emotions or negative feelings, or that makes you feel victimized or makes you feel regret or doubt or even self doubt, right? Anything that is coming up for the purpose of being released. And you're being given this opportunity. However, some of you may not take it. Some of you may find it too difficult, or you don't want to let something go because there's a need right now to devote yourself to you and to your strength and to empowering yourself by choosing what you value, choosing where you want to put your time and energy. Okay. And this is going to set the stage for the next year in what you're able to bring in for yourself, essentially, what you attract into your life, what you manifest, what you're able to manifest. Um, some people in the collective may choose not to take this opportunity, and that's why this wild card is here, because for one, each of us and our own story is going to be completely different. And the blood moon has a way of revealing all that's been in the shadow to begin with. Given that this is an eclipse, that that also changes the whole script, right? If it were just a blood moon, you would be having things coming up, but it would be gentle. But because we have this eclipse energy on top of it, there is a large need to purge. Not only to purge, but to recognize and be honest with ourselves as to what it is that is still looming in that shadow, what it is that we have refused to look at. And so this wild card also represents the wildness of this double energy coming together, because you don't really know what's going to come. You don't really know what's on your path ahead. You don't really know what you've still been suppressing necessarily, but it's going to be revealed to you, right? And so your capacity to accept where you are, what's coming up, and love yourself anyways. Choose yourself. That's what this devotion card is really about. It's about choosing yourself, choosing not to run from it, choosing not to hide from it, choosing uh, to value yourself enough to look at these things, to deal with them, and to create lasting change because you are being prepared for this next year, um, and to step into a different timeline. Now, each person's timeline is going to be completely different. It depends on when you started this journey, and how much work you've put into it, right? And it's really dependent on you. So, with that, the preparation period and what you're about to enter, what stage or phase of your life over the next year you're about to enter is going to be different for each person. So take that as it resonates. Don't force any part to fit. But what I am getting is that with this preparation and B and the lovers, excuse me, confirmation bird, the lovers often represents choices. It often represents love. It could represent soul family, a high level soulmate. It can represent just a loving family, like love being present. But when I see it with these cards, what I'm really getting is that you are preparing to be the love itself. So um, to be and to embody that energy of love to its highest vibration, to its highest degree, so that you can show up in the world as that, right? So when you operate in this frequency of love, when you operate in compassion and understanding, um, and but for yourself as well as all of humanity, this is one of the highest, well, it is the highest frequency in which you can attract and manifest from. And so, pardon me, what I'm getting here is that you are going to experience your preparation period. This is an initiation period. So everything that comes up that you decide to take on and take action on is going to prepare you for this massive heart awakening, okay? Which is going to allow you to operate at a higher frequency, at a higher um, degree, I just heard, higher space, in a higher degree. And maybe that's relevant, degree. Maybe some of you are going for a degree. This may be something specific for somebody. But in the highest vibration so that whatever you want to manifest in the next year is going to be easier for you. Okay. Now, again, take that as it fits in your personal journey. If you are just starting this journey, then this is going to be a heart awakening for you to expand your consciousness, to expand your awareness, to expand your level of seeing yourself in a different capacity than you ever have. And then for those of you who are much further along, this is your unity consciousness, right? So this is where you finally begin to see and not only interpret but resonate and act and I just heard vibe with, but you're working in unison as one. So it is about not just your heart opening and activating and love pouring out of you, but it is about unity consciousness, which means that you're stepping up into a different dimension completely in your understanding, in your feeling, in your manifestations, in your actions and in how the world responds to you. Okay, so again, depending on what stage you're in and what dimension you're working in, if you're still working in the 3D or if you're in the 4D or if you're in the 5D, Um, that's going to look differently for each of you, but do understand that this is a massive shift. It's a really beautiful opportunity to dig deeply without without the need to hold on to it. This energy of the eclipse and the blood moon combined means that not only is everything going to come to the surface, which it does anyways with the blood moon, but the eclipse is going to come in with this wild card energy and go, all right, if you put in the time, we're going to match you, but we're going to hyperspeed this and we're going to shove it out. And then in the next year, you no longer have to carry that, which allows your heart to open and allows you to hold more space for uh, higher thoughts, better belief systems, right? It'll be easier to implement whatever work that you're doing. It's going to be energized, I just heard. Tenfold. And so it's like receiving universal support from the moon and the planets all at one time. It's almost like having a couple personal assistants to do everything, or like I'm hearing like a clone of yourself or a couple clones of yourself. If you choose to activate this energy and to to claim it, to um, go into it, it's going to supercharge your healing. It's going to supercharge the purging. It's going to supercharge every aspect of whatever comes up. So that's really cool. I love that. All right. Be love. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, and that really does tell me like sixth dimension, getting out of whatever dimension you're functioning in. Like the sixth dimension is all about unity consciousness, instant manifestations, fully understanding how your actions create reactions, your thoughts instantly manifest, right? Um, and how anything that you're sending towards another is not only affecting them but is affecting you and affecting the whole, right? It's a complete shift in your perspective on how the world operates and how we are all connected together and how we're all tied and um how what it is that you decide to put out there or how you decide to live your life, whether it's in integrity and you're living by your moral compass or ethics or whatever, if you are living in that state, then you are the highest, you're living in your highest potential, which reflects back to you all of those things that you have aligned with, right? So that's kind of what this is. It's not about just us, but it's about when we align ourselves with that energy, we then open the doors to this unity consciousness, which allows us to understand the world and to interact with the world in a completely different way. And what I mean by that is that even if people are around you, well, not people that you're hanging out with, but even if you encounter people who are maybe in different dimensions, different parts of their lives who are struggling, even toxic people, you'll no longer be carrying around. And these are for those, this message is for those people who are in the fifth dimension about to go into the sixth dimension, should they choose this path. Um, but you will no longer hold resentment or anger or judgment or any negative perception of other people and where they are on their spiritual path themselves, on their life path. But instead, you'll hold compassion for where they are. Because at one point, each of us was there too, right? So this is like a graduation phase once we take this path, then we're going to be prepared for the graduation phase into the next level. And so that level can be different for each of you, as I said. Um, but regardless of what level you're starting at, or if you are in the middle of it, or if you're in the higher section, then it doesn't really matter because it's all about graduating onto the next level. And that I had a little fly go in my face. Sorry about that. Distractions. Um, it's about graduating to the next level, and that's what you're preparing for, right? To access that next level, that next part of yourself, that next frequency, that next conscious, that consciousness, and your perceptions will change, and everything, your idea and your concept of reality and of the world will begin to change every time you take a step up into a new dimension, um, into a new level within reality, right? So hopefully I explained that well enough. Where do you want me to go from here, Holy Spirit? Yeah. All right, we're gonna moon it up today. Moon it up. We've got the Moonology Oracle cards. All right, what is my question here? Hmm. So other than what I channeled, is there anything? Well, no. Let's see. I want to be very specific about this. Okay, Spirit. What is coming up in the collective shadow that needs to be actually no. I'm going to use the shadow work deck for that. What is coming up in the shadow of the collective that needs to be released? What's coming up at this time for the collective in their shadow, from their shadow, that needs to be released? Whoa, already. Okay, I'm not surprised that jumbled thoughts came out because that was like a jumble of cards that went all over the place. So the first one that we have is Battle Within. The greatest war you wage is against yourself. Inner conflict resolution. Okay. And then we have we had arrogance. That was the next one. Not seeing flaws hinders growth. No limits to learn. No limits to learn and improve. Humility, awareness, growth. Okay. So again, these may be, there may be a need for some of you to look at your own toxic belief systems and negative thought patterns, or even your toxic traits, behaviors. So this card indicates to me that something has been suppressed, or maybe multiple things that you have no fault of yours. I mean, this is a difficult path, right? I get it. But what's coming up and is in the shadow is this, um, are these aspects of self that perhaps we're not looking at, which would hinder that unity consciousness, right? If we're not accepting parts of ourselves as they are, as who we used to be, and taking a stance, well, not taking a stance, no, that's not the right word, but accepting those parts of our shadow regardless, then that's going to hinder this ability to move into and shift into unity consciousness. So allowing it to come forward, recognizing that that is an aspect of your shadow, regardless of how that makes you feel, but loving that part of yourself is how you integrate it, right? Accepting that part of yourself, not pushing it away, but instead accepting and um, compassionately reintegrating those parts of yourself because all of us were conditioned by our environments, right? And so maybe we grew up with people who were very arrogant. Maybe we were in relationships to arrogance, people who were arrogant. And so, therefore, that energy does create patterns within us and does shape who we are as well. And especially if we take on some of that in order to survive, right? So, there are things in the shadow that need to be revealed. And I'm also seeing with this battle within, this is, of course, it's one of the most familiar patterns for air signs, but along this journey, period, right? So, if we are battling ourselves on anything, which we all are, let's be honest, we all are, we battle ourselves with the right choices, with what to wear, with what to do. It's a lot of decisions that we have to make. So streamlining any basic decisions that you may have to make so that you can get clear on which direction that you need to go in that will be um, serving you and your highest potential, as well as serving the whole, right? Benefit the whole. What's, I guess the best way to put this is when you're battling yourself, and this is the analogy that they're bringing forward. When you're battling yourself, the best thing that you can do for yourself is to limit anything that is coming from the external. So that would be any opinions, any energies. I'm really getting that a lot of you have been hit recently by a lot of energies, negative energies, doubt, other people's opinions, um, which creates more self-doubt or battles within. Um, and to really tap into your own intuition. So maybe you need time away, maybe you need some space and time away from others and other people's opinions and thoughts about your life, your direction, um, your feelings, what's good for you, what's not good for you, because it comes with this jumbled thoughts too. So if you're battling yourself all the time, there's inner conflict that denotes that you are having difficulty in choosing the right direction or choosing the right path. And really, what you need to do is center yourself, be alone for a bit, and figure out if your choices going forward with what you want to do align with, again, your moral compass, your ethics, your integrity, your value system. If they don't, and you find that arrogance is there, or maybe some other thing comes up around that that goes against your moral compass or your values, then you know that's not the right path for you. It's not going to bring you your highest joy. It's not going to put you in alignment with what it is that you're desiring to create. It's actually going to create disharmony within you because you're going against yourself. Do you understand? You are turning against yourself. Therefore, you'll continue to battle with yourself until you align with those parts of you that you know are correct and in alignment with source. So, this battle within really comes down to um, what is the right thing for you to do? What direction are you supposed to go in? Not what other people think, not what other people feel, you know, what's right for you? What feels right? What aligns with your, pardon me, what aligns with your values? And will that bring peace into your life? Will it bring joy into your life? Will it bring fulfillment into your life? Will it serve you as well as lift up humanity in some way, shape, or form, right? Um, and I really think these jumbled thoughts come with these internal battles. Sometimes it's all about the thoughts that bring us to these internal battles, right? The mind can make a heaven or hell, a hell. Oh, I'm reading that wrong. The mind can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven, confusion, anxiety, escape. Yeah. And so this comes down to this energy coming forward because, it's rising up to show you all of your limitations. It's rising up to confuse you. It's rising up to get you off path. It's rising up to keep you from growing and evolving. And this can come just energetically or spiritually, or it can come physically from interacting with specific people who instill fear in you or instill doubts based on their own limited beliefs and their own limited ways of perceiving the world. And so, again, this confusion and this anxiety creates these battles within. And really, what you're being asked to do is silence all of the critics, external as well as your own inner critic, and get down to the root of your decisions by seeing where you align with them and if that going forward is actually going to be fulfilling for you, exciting for you, bring you joy, bring you closer to your goals and objectives. Um, and this is going to help you with that anxiety as well, because if you're going to make a decision out of fear, this does not align you with unity consciousness. Okay. If you try and suppress it, this is just escaping. If you try to use something to avoid it, that is another form of escaping. Even just these jumbled thoughts can be a form of escaping. This may be the toxic pattern itself, right? Getting into states of confusion and anxiety and inner conflict with yourself and being too stubborn to change that. So that might even just be the pattern for some of you. Okay. And then we have courage. Hmm. Yeah. So this says stop hiding, show up and let yourself be seen. Fear, vulnerability, growth. And that's kind of what I was jumping into with this jumbled thoughts card is fear seems to be a driving force. And what spirit wants to tell you is they don't want you to make a decision because of fear. Because if you make a decision out of fear, it's going to lead to more lack, more scarcity, more of all the things that you don't want because you're acting out of that fear rather than out of your heart space, right? You're acting from a place of insecurity, whereas you should be, working on those insecurities as they are revealed and strengthening yourself, loving yourself, choosing yourself, being your best friend, being your best supporter, being the one who encourages yourself, being the one who uplifts yourself, being the, being everything that you feel insecure about, being the one who tells you you're gorgeous, being the one who says, good job, and pats yourself on the back. This is the whole process of reparenting yourself. This is the process of spiritual enlightenment and of this journey is learning to be that for yourself first before you can be in a healthy relationship with others. And so you have to have the courage to do this for yourself, right? To stand up for yourself, to value yourself, to be there for yourself, which means not running away, not escaping, and not making decisions out of fear, no matter what the external reality is trying to tell you at this time. Because if a lot of things are coming up that are bringing forth fear, then that tells you you're getting really, really, really close to actually breaking through that fear, to actually breaking through or breaking the chains that have been holding you down to that pattern or belief system or way of being in any aspect of your life. When you have a lot of fear coming up, it tells you that you are about to expand and grow exponentially, but it does need your time and attention. It cannot heal itself. It cannot be rewired or reprogrammed by itself. You have to make the choice to do that. And in order to eliminate fear, we have to work with our inner child and our subconscious mind and rewire our brains and the neural pathways in our brains at all times. So we have to be on the ball. We're the ones who have to have the courage to stand up to those patterns and belief systems and see them for what they are. They're lies. They're not our truth or your truth. They are lies. And when you adopt this idea that they are lies, you can more easily defeat them and let them go. And this doesn't matter if it is a thought, an emotion, a situation that comes up, a person, a feeling, whatever it is, it's up to you to decide if you want to continue to believe that or not. Yeah. Okay. Let's get one more in the shadow. What's coming up from the shadow for the collective that needs to be worked on, seen, or released? That one? Okay. Resentment. Okay. Yeah. It often festers, causing a desire for revenge. Let go of the past to find peace, forgiveness, release, serenity. And, again, no surprise, collective. You've been through a lot. You've been through some of the worst this year. Okay. And many people who have gone through this journey have been through the worst of the worst. They have lost a lot. They have had to close doors and chapters in their lives that they never thought they would, with people that they never thought they would. And for some of you, all of the people that you ever knew, right? So it's like everybody dying all on the same day. That's a lot to process. That's a lot of grief. That's a lot of emotion. And so it's no surprise that a lot of you have been struggling with the resentment, struggling with the need to um, maybe feel, not even necessarily enact revenge, but feel revengeful, right? A lot of people hold on to resentment. In fact, I'm just basing it on my experiences in the world. And I've seen the worst of people, right? I've seen some of the best, but I've also seen most of the worst of the worst. And so, in my experience, I've found that a lot of people, most people, hold on to resentment and grudges and negativity. And that's not all people, because that's what this journey is about. It's about refining yourself, mastering yourself, self mastery, so that you learn to finally forgive and release, right? And it takes time. It's a process. If you're just starting this journey and you're closing these chapters and these doors, nobody expects you to be at this point where you can just forgive. Nobody. So don't put that pressure on yourself, okay, love? This is about those who aren't working on it, right? This is still in your shadow. What are you resentful for? Why do you want revenge? Why do you want karma? Why do you want like what kind of attention and time are you giving to this situation or the people? Are you still thinking about them all the time? Can you go a whole day without thinking about the situation or the person? Can you um, refocus your energy if something does come up? Can you send out positivity instead of negativity if a negative thought does come up? Can you, like, where are you at on the spectrum? Because it is a spectrum, right? And again, it depends on where you are in your journey. So if you're at the beginning, don't even like pretend this card doesn't exist because you're not there, and that's okay. That is okay. First, you need to learn to love yourself, which is why you got out of these situations, right? That's the first step. But for those of you who are in the middle of this, then these are things you need to consider. Like, how much time and attention am I giving to that situation or that person? How often am I thinking about them? How often are those thoughts dark and murky? How often am I catching myself, or am I catching myself at all? Am I, rebuking those thoughts, clearing them, canceling them, and resending out positive thoughts, loving thoughts, forgiveness, right? Where are you at on that? So that might be a point of contention for some of you that is coming forward right now, that you are perhaps taking that anger or that hurt. That's what it really comes down to. It's sadness. It's deep, deep hurt, and projecting that onto others or back out to the original source of where it happened. And for those of you who are kind of nearing the end of this, it's just a reminder to stay steadfast in your forgiveness processes, in your ability to catch yourself the moment these negative thoughts come up. And this resentment is not just about other people and the harm that they have caused to us. It's about the resentment that we hold towards our own lives, towards the path that we've lived, towards our own decisions that have put us in harm's way. Um, you may be harboring unexpected truths or aspects of yourself that are coming forward right now that are really hard to face, because this might be pointed at yourself. And when you've been through a path of harm and hurt, and you've developed, deep wounds and scars and battle scars, I looked over at this battle card, battle scars from what you've gone through. It's easy to see where we may have harbored anger and resentment towards ourselves for putting ourselves on that path. And this might be coming forward in the form of regret, or in the form of a projection towards somebody else, even though it was our responsibility as an adult to learn our own lessons, to get ourselves out of situations, to choose more wisely. Um, you know, these are things that may need to be accepted and forgiven within ourselves. And then again, it could also be another person or people or situations. Okay. Take that as it fits for you. But again, nobody, like, this is about holding a space of compassion and love to the highest degree, right? That's what this shift is about. It's about holding this unity consciousness, which allows us to finally release aspects of self that have been holding us back. And instead of enacting any kind of revenge, whether it's towards another person, even if it's just thought forms, or if it is towards ourselves, meaning like through the exploration of addictions or escapism or negativity, or even just negative self-talk, these are all forms of self-punishment which come from holding on to this resentment, holding on to this hurt. So these are things to really, really consider as they come forward, which will allow you to finally start closing the door on these things, one at a time. But keep this in mind as you go throughout the year, dependent on where you are in your journey. Again, for those of you in the middle or at the very beginning, you're going to need to keep this in mind, that every time something like this comes up, especially if it's self-directed, and again, if you have all these battle wounds, you probably learned to internalize a lot of the hurt and the pain and the actions that people have directed towards your way, and the projections as your fault, as you were bad, as you're not worthy of love, as you're not worthy of receiving protection or care. And that's simply not the truth. But because of that, you may have redirected or learned a pattern of redirecting that shame, that guilt, that self punishment towards yourself. And you're being asked to remember that every time it comes up. Remember that's the mechanism. That's what's going on. But it's not true. And you have the power to decide what is true for you. Okay? All right. So let's see. We're going to move on to what's going to help you. Okay. Let me get this deck here. Oops. This is the Moon deck by Arona Lee. Comes with this nice, beautiful wood box if you choose to buy that one additionally. All right. So I did just hear what's going to help you overcome all of these things. So what I heard from Spirit was follow your own advice. And what they mean by this is all that love and attention and care that you've poured into others throughout the year, the devotion that you've shown to others, they want you to show up as that for yourself right now. So if you were the kind of person who always was the listening ear, the good listener, the good support, the good, like somebody who nurtured people, somebody who loved people, who showed them love, compassion, and care, even if they didn't deserve it. Whatever it is, they want you to show up in that respect for yourself. So if things are coming up from your childhood, things are coming up that your inner child or past selves are bringing forward at this time, that you've been escaping or that you haven't been listening to or didn't want to hear or didn't want to see. Be your own support system. Be the listener for that truth. Be there for that person, that inner child of yours. Be there for yourself. Show up for yourself. Demonstrate all of the care and the compassion and the love and the support and the nurturing that you've given to others, or even the advice that you give to others, and do that for yourself. Follow your own advice. Okay. Somebody needed to hear that. So maybe you are still giving advice, but maybe you're not following it yourself fully. And that is a lack of integrity, right? A lack of alignment in your value system. That is something to look at. But whatever it is that does come forward that you have been for others in the past, you're being asked to be that for yourself at this time. And always, right? That keeps you in alignment with yourself and with your highest self. Um, okay, so that's good. Good information. Thank you. Thank you, Holy Spirit. What else can the collective, uh, that's not the question, sorry. What is going to assist the collective in integrating, accepting, and loving these aspects of shadow? What's going to help them? What's going to help the collective with the integration of their shadow selves? Oh, with a steady mind, I am connected to our collective experience. Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of this unity consciousness. But at the same time, it's slowing down enough to observe, to become the observer of your life. So observing what things are coming up for you to the surface at this time and understanding how whatever it is that you're doing, how you're portraying yourself, how you're out of alignment with yourself, how you're like again, this follow your own advice aspect of it. If you're not following your own advice that you're giving to others, then that puts you out of alignment with integrity, right? And so that affects the whole. That affects your ability to um, move up the ladder, so to say. That affects your ability to relate properly to not just humanity, but to the world around you, to the matrix, to the field that is around you, right? Which is what you use to attract, because you attract what you are, not what you want. You attract who you are at your core. And so these are all elements of understanding how your actions, your alignment, your behavior towards yourself puts you either out of alignment or in discourse with what you desire to actually manifest, what's in your mind, right? So you have to understand that your actions not only affect how you um, receive yourself and perceive yourself, I just heard, but how the world perceives you and resonates back with you, right? So if you are feeling discord in your life or your 3D reality is reflecting negativity, it's because there are aspects of you that are out of alignment. And so this whole following your own advice really helps you to connect with that unity consciousness because it allows you to understand that whatever it is that you're resonating from, whether you're resonating from wounds or lack or fear or scarcity or judgment or whatever it is, resentment, um, then that is affecting how other people can see you and relate to you. Therefore, it also affects the quantum field, which is what allows you to pull in your specific relationships and situations and experiences and interactions with others, right? What you're going to receive. And so this is this collective consciousness, this collective unity consciousness, and understanding that your energy is the most important to get into alignment to that highest degree of love so that everything in the quantum field can reverberate what you are feeling within, thinking, what you are um, experiencing. Everything that is you can be reverberated back to you. And that comes with a change of thoughts, it comes with clarity, making decisions that are not flip flopping, going back and forth, being very clear about what it is that you want to experience, what it is you want to feel. And in fact, during a short meditation I had earlier this morning, that was something that did come up. So, they brought me through this feeling of like feeling into what you want, not necessarily putting it out as like, this is the desired outcome, but what would like the actual feeling feel like? Feel into the emotions. What would it feel like to live your best life right now? If you had the ability to live the life that you truly desire right now, without any challenges, without any pain, without any burdens, without anything that is limiting, what would that feel like? Because above all, it's your energy that is going to respond with the quantum field is going to respond to your energy, right? So, as I mentioned on this channel a lot, it's about your thoughts, it's about your words, but it's also about your energy. And your energy is what the quantum field responds to, right? You can say affirmations until the sun goes down. But if you don't change your actual beliefs behind that, if you don't change your energy behind it, if you don't actually understand the feeling of what you're trying to accomplish, whether that's freedom or relief or joy, contentment, happiness, bliss, If you don't understand the feeling, then you're always going to be lost in translation and be in conflict with your thoughts and with your actions. And so it's really important for you to not only perceive the world through that lens, but to embody it fully. Yes, that's all they want to say on that. Okay. What else will help the collective with the integration of their shadow, please? And thank you, Spirit. Oh, that one on the floor. Okay. And being that this one fell on the floor, when it fell on the floor, I heard from Spirit, this one's a little harder to attain because it's further away or it feels further away. And that makes sense. I allow stillness to heal and reveal. Oops. And there's some nudity on this card. So, I don't have my crystals with me today. I'll show you the card without the nudity aspects. And then I will have to keep it here and flip it the opposite way. So that makes sense that it would feel distant. It would feel far away, right? Difficult to attain stillness because I do see a level of unwillingness to accept certain aspects of your shadow and also a desire to escape, um, to sit still, to take the time to devote to yourself, to let go of past pains and forgive yourself, to go within. You know, these are all normal human behaviors. We've all been conditioned to run away from our pain, just as societal beliefs change, like whereas men were always supposed to be strong, show no emotions, never say I love you, that changed throughout different timelines. And so too is this concept of not dealing with your emotions, right? It's not much different than that. It's how we were raised, how we were programmed, how our cultural or religious or even parental figures operated and um, taught to us and how they learned, right? And it was just passed down generationally. But because of this coming forward, it feels as though it's very hard for some of you, at least in the collective, to sit down in quiet with yourselves, to stop running from yourself because you're afraid of what might come up, or maybe it feels very painful, or um, maybe oh, okay. Maybe there is a deep-seated fear in allowing your inner child to come forward because maybe you're afraid of their outrage or their emotions or their outbursts. That's the one that was trying to come through. Not outrage, but outburst towards you. Because I did pick up on this resentment also being projected back at yourself, right? Putting yourself down, talking badly to yourself, thinking badly about yourself, limiting beliefs, right? Self-doubt. Um, this really tells me that there is this inner battle between you and yourself, um, in not wanting to face that because of shame and guilt that was instilled within you, which would have come from the programming of, um, being soft, being sensitive, being emotional, seen as a weakness. And your empathy is your greatest strength. Whether or not other people can recognize that or have in the past does not matter. It is your greatest tool to overcome all of these limiting beliefs so that you can become an empowered empath, or you can call it a super empath. And a super empath is the most powerful mirror to others, which is the purpose of being an empath, is so that you can become an empowered empath and use that for good. right? And you don't need to do anything when you become that beautiful mirror. You just stand in your power. You don't even need to say anything. Your silence says it all. And people will be able to see their own behaviors, their own actions, their own words, their own limiting beliefs just by you standing amongst them, right? So your empathy, your your sensitivity was likely viewed as a weakness growing up within your family or even within a relationship, within a friend group, but it is not. And you need to recognize that it's actually a superpower. It's your greatest strength. And so having that empathy has been conditioned into you, again, through your family, through your culture, through society, through belief systems that no longer hold personal relevance to you or your future, and they may be limiting at this time. So allowing yourself to be with you in quiet stillness and just allowing whatever comes forward to come up and to grieve it, I heard. For some of you, you may need to grieve the child within you who never was allowed to be sensitive, to be empathetic, to be kind, to be caring, or the parts of you that were punished for being that way, for being loving and caring. The parts of you that were dumped on or scapegoated because you were seen as weak instead of strong. The parts of you who believed you were weak because of your empathy, because of the great love that you held within yourself. You need to recognize that those were lies. The way that people treated you were based on their own deficits, their own insecurities, their own inability to be that, to be and demonstrate the love that you held. And because they were not able to, they treated you as though you were a threat. So they demeaned you, they demoralized you, they diminished you. They used you as a dumping grounds for their own toxicity. They treated you immorally, unethically, terribly. But that is not a direct reflection of you. And it is not a direct reflection of weakness. They did that because they were intimidated by you. So you need to understand that that is a strength. And you have the ability to turn that around and to heal that belief system, to heal that conditioning, and to recognize your own power, your own strength, and therefore your own sovereignty as a human being. People will always, if somebody is very confident and loving, people will always come at you. They will always target you thinking that you are weak. But once you become an empowered empath, you are no longer a victim. You do not live in victim consciousness. You'll know exactly what to do in those situations and how to handle them. You'll stand up for yourself. You will shut people like that down just by standing in their presence. There's nothing, there is nothing more powerful and scary to those dark entities, to toxic people, than somebody who knows their worth, somebody who knows who they are, somebody who stands in their power. So don't be afraid to be alone with you and accept you and see what comes forward. That's your greatest strength, is your empathy. It's not a weakness. Okay? All right. And one more. What will benefit the collective in the integration of their shadow aspects? What will help the collective to integrate their shadow aspects? I have unlimited potential and claim my purpose. All I need is within me. Yeah, that's kind of what well, it's touching base on that anyhow. This is not showing too much, but I'll do that for now. Yeah, so this is it's a restructuring of your belief systems, of your programming, your conditioning. It's about understanding that nothing outside of yourself can limit your potential, can limit you. And it's about reclaiming your power in the situation, in every situation in life. It's about taking a stance against anything or anyone who is trying to affect you negatively, pull you back into cycles, pull you back into negative thinking, including yourself, right? It's not just external, but this is a reclamation of you, of your power, of your strength. And once you reclaim that, then you understand that you are the seed. You are the potential. You understand that anything that you want to create, it's limitless as to what you can create. But you need to get into that alignment, right? And I think that one of the things that's coming through, I think that some of you in the collective have been struggling with your life purpose, not knowing which direction to go into, not knowing if you're on the right path. And that's why these jumbled thoughts and this battle within have been coming up, right? This conflict, internal conflict, because there's been some sort of confusion. Something seeped into your mind, created doubt. And that doubt does not allow you to see clearly who you truly are, how strong you truly are. It does not allow you to see your path clearly. And once you can harness these aspects of yourself and to allow them and to love them and accept them and to gain clarity on your, um, again, your morals, your values, you know, if they're in alignment with your choices or not, if they're going to bring you closer or farther away from what you truly desire, the feeling that you want to accomplish by choosing that path, you begin to see the path clearly. You begin to trust yourself more, um, not just intuitively, but physically, deeply. You trust yourself. You develop that relationship within yourself. And you then can harness that understanding of your potential because you're valuing yourself. You're devoting yourself to yourself. You're being there for yourself. You're giving yourself everything that you require that you never received before today. Any insecurities that come up, you're being there for yourself. You're following your own advice. You're in alignment with integrity. And when that happens, again, you reclaim your power. You know your purpose. You stay focused on your purpose, on your path. You take actionable steps that are in alignment with that. But you have to also realize that everything that you are working for is already a part of you through past experiences, past lives, through all of the accumulated experiences your soul has had. You have developed strengths, you have developed abilities, you have developed all kinds of talents that you can use and tap into and harness and strengthen to create with. And maybe there is a part of you that doesn't see that clearly, that doesn't see um, what your strengths and your talents are. And that may be another aspect within this eclipse season that you're needing to refine, you're needing to look at and refine. And if you're unsure and you have somebody who is close to you, who actually demonstrates love to you in your life, who you can trust with your emotions and feedback, and maybe you can say, what strengths have you noticed within me, or what do you think my talents are, if you're unsure, right? First, check in with yourself though. Don't just rely on other people for that information. Check in with yourself. Look back at your life and see what your talents have been. First and foremost, you. Then, if you want to bounce that off somebody or receive more information, maybe that you're not seeing, then go ahead with somebody else. But first, you, right? You need to be honest with yourself. Maybe you're overlooking something because of a lack of self-worth or a lack of confidence within yourself. So that's something to consider when you are looking into yourself. Do limiting beliefs come up that you then need to work through? Or ask yourself if that's true or not, or if you're just being too hard on yourself, right? All right, so I'll have some water. Okay, Spirit. What messages do you have for the collective? We're going to close off this reading pretty soon. Remember that you can't change anyone but yourself. Yeah. And that's that thing about advice, right? Follow your own advice. Cut your losses. Leave the past in the past. Leave the people, places, and things that haven't changed, that you can't change, that won't change in the past or to themselves where they belong, and let go and allow yourself to be your own main focus, right? Focus on you, focus on what you can change. In fact, that does, pardon me, that does remind me of the serenity prayer, and I have it on the wall here. Says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Pardon me. Courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. And I like to use that prayer anytime I'm struggling with an emotion or a pattern or behavior or anything that's coming up that I find triggering or difficult to get through or difficult to process, because it's really about finding that inner strength to realize that there's nothing that we can do to help others if they are not willing to help themselves. We can only be the example. And there's nothing to control. You know, People try and control other people all the time. They try and manipulate them, control them, um, instill fear, instill stress, indoctrinate into crazy things and beliefs. And it's all a matter of control. But when you realize that you're in control of yourself, that everybody else, um, this is this unity consciousness, you understand that you're only in charge of you. I'm going to say that again. You understand fully you are only in charge of you, and nobody is in charge of you but you. This brings you to this unity consciousness where you can surrender to the fact that people are stuck in their own limiting beliefs, stuck in their own ways of being, stuck in toxic habits and behaviors. But it's not up to you to decide what is right or wrong for them. It's what their soul decided to be for their own soul's development and growth. And so we don't get to decide. It's not our job to judge others. It's not our job to control other people. It is not our job to decide where a person gets to be or not be. It is not our job to project what we want from a person onto them. That's Source's job. That's God's job, or whomever you call your creator. It's not our job. Our only job is to make sure that we can align with being the best version of ourselves, the most healed version of ourselves, and walk in the same energy as Jesus did. To the best of our ability. We're human beings. We we come from a situation where most people live in sin. Most people live in darkness. Most people live with pain. Most people, hurt people, right? Walking wounds. And so because of that, we can't judge anybody. We can't control the situation. We can't control outcomes. We can only do the best we can by ourselves. So that means doing good by ourselves, not by ourself, like, but by us. Do good by you. If it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't feel right, if it goes against your morals, don't do it. If it goes against your values, don't do it. Right? You can only change you. The rest you have to let go and surrender and leave the dominoes where they fall. People, places, situations, the jobs. It's falling for a reason. Those things are leaving your life for a reason. And that's to make more space for a better life, a better you, a better situation, a better career, a better relationships, better friendships. All right, what else have you got for the collective here? What messages do you have for the collective? Thank you, Holy Spirit. Look around and find some signs the universe is speaking to you. Absolutely. Okay, so maybe you haven't been noticing the synchronicities lately. And so, for some of you who aren't noticing the synchronicities, this is a call to slow down and just notice every single thing that happens and jot it down and then start to decipher what that means for you. Whether you need to Google some of the things or you need to tap into your intuition or whatever it is, decipher what it means. And maybe just do that for a couple of hours. Like, notice what's happening around you. Sit outside. Is it loud? Is somebody using a chainsaw? Does a animal fly by or come up to you? Are there certain bugs? What are their patterns and behavior? How are they interacting with each other? How are things interacting with you? Okay. write all those things down and then dig into them and see, decipher the code of what it actually means. Because the universe is speaking to you at all times. Everything that happens in your environment, in your life, is communication from the universe, which will help you to show you where you're out of alignment or in alignment, right? So, for some of you, you need to do that. For others of you, you're starting to see the synchronicities, or you have been seeing a lot of synchronicities, and that's a positive thing. But maybe you're not noticing some of the bigger ones. Maybe you're tuned in or tapped into specific things, but not other things. Like maybe you're seeing angel numbers, but you're not recognizing the signs around you from other things. Maybe you see an actual sign that says something after you're questioning something, or you ask the universe a question or yourself, and you receive a sign or something on the side of somebody's vehicle that says something, and it's confirmation, but you're missing it, right? Pay attention to the signs and synchronicities. It's important because they have messages for you. Your guides are trying to illuminate something to you. And always, but all right, what other messages do you have for the collective? You must forgive if you want to be free. Do it for yourself. Yeah, we were talking about this forgiveness, right? And that's it. You're not forgiving people for them. This is not for other people. Mm-mm-mm. No, no, no. Let me tell you. You don't forgive other people to release them from the pain and the suffering that they've caused you. No, that's not why you forgive. You forgive because you love yourself enough to let go of all the burdens and the resentment and the pain and the weight that is holding you back from being happy, from truly feeling joy, from truly reclaiming the aspects of yourself that were suppressed out of fear, out of not fitting in, right? Out of being the black sheep or the scapegoat or the perfectionist or the people pleaser or whatever it is that taps into your insecurities, right? You're forgiving for you. This is a gift for you. You're not forgiving others to release them from what they've done. No, no, no. And it's not like you forgive them and you go back to them. No, because you know your worth, you know your value, you know you deserve to be treated better. You're forgiving people, but you're not forgetting. Otherwise, you would never learn anything from that. If you just forgive them and forgive them and forgive them and never learn your lesson. This is about learning your lesson, forgiving yourself for being in that situation or situations, and then letting them go, forgiving them, letting them go so that you can actually move on in the most productive and happiest and lightest and joyful way that you possibly can. You can live a life that is healthy, a life well lived, right? That's the point of forgiving. It's not for others who hurt you, it's for you. It's your greatest gift and one of the greatest acts of self love that you can give yourself. All right, we're going to get a few animal messages for you, and then we'll get a crystal and some affirmations, and then we'll be done. I knew this one would be a bit longer because it is a specific reading for the eclipse. Which affirmations would like to come out for the collective? What do we have here? Or not affirmations, spirit messages. Spirit animal messages, geez. Okay. Happiness, I'm being told to take them all. So we've got happiness, sea otter. Be the master of playful living. Release expectations and enjoy every day. Let worry go and instead choose love. Surrender to the waves. Your good destiny of love is sure. Mm. And we have Coyote, revealer of the truth. Don't take things too seriously. Make time to play. Great wisdom comes from laughing at your own folly. Look out for the traps and tricks of life and learn from them. Yeah, so some of you may be, like I said in the beginning of the reading, coming full circle now, encountering energies or people or things that are coming up that are triggering you into the self doubt, into this lack mentality, into jumbled thoughts and battling with yourself, right? These are coming forward because these are signs and synchronicities too, that you're about to up level. And so maybe you're seeing that in your finances too, where you're having difficulties, or maybe you're seeing that interpersonally within relationships with other people, that they're strained, or they are trying to um, verbally attack you, or they are instilling fear into you, or they are trying to um, project things onto you. You'll see this often every time you're about to level up. So, whatever you're seeing in your reality, be aware that this is a sign and synchronicity from the universe itself trying to show you, hey, you're not off path. There's no reason for doubt. There's no reason for fear. You're actually about to level up and make a quantum leap out of here. And so don't believe what you're seeing. Don't believe what you're hearing. And anytime that you do receive that information, you do see that, right? Um, Shift the energy, shift your focus, shift everything that you need to into a lighthearted, more joyful space where you can play, where you can experience joy, where you can be creative, whatever it is that you need to do in order to uplift yourself. That's what Spirit wants you to remember to do. Okay. And then we have supernatural dragon. You are excuse me, you are the ancient wise sage. You can shapeshift at will. Mastery is your destiny. Rise with dignity. That's right. Like the phoenix who rises from the ashes, right? We have to go through the alchemical process, through all of the different elements, and the last element is fire. But once the fire finally burns all of this down, all of the untruths, all of the insecurities, all of the toxic masculine and toxic feminine traits and parts of our ego that don't belong, all of the conditioning, then we can become this phoenix who rises from the ashes to reclaim ourselves, to reclaim our lives, and reclaim our position in the world, to be a good role model for others. And then we have vibrancy, peacock. You were born to shine and inspire. That goes perfectly with what I was just saying. Practice humility and avoid jealousy. Be grateful for life, and more good things will come. Be true to yourself and recognize your brilliance. Yes, being humble comes with this path. Anytime that you exude too much arrogance or maybe jealousy or an emotion that is, perhaps associated with the seven deadly sins or an activity that is associated, you often get humbled by the universe. Source will find a way to make sure that you learn your lesson, become humbled, right? That's just the way of karma. That is the way of the universe and how it works. Is that if we go too far into one direction, we're going to receive that back. And will be definitely humbled. So remember that as you begin to climb, it's not about revenge. It's not about people getting their karma. It's not about, I told you so, right? I told you so. It's not about that. It's about our ability to recognize that they never came here to take the same path. They never came here to evolve to the same level. They never came here to learn the same lessons, but they were a catalyst to your growth, to your lessons, to your development. So we need to be humble about where people are. We need to be humble about where we are, even if we grow and develop into a space where we have access to everything that another may be envious of, that we still remain humble. Just because we have access does not mean that we're going to flaunt it or put it in everybody's face in a way that's going to be intentionally revengeful, right? Intentionally hurtful. No. Instead, we we submit to the higher order of the universe and of source, and we allow ourselves to be moving through our existence gracefully, right? All right. With grace and humility, I'm going to get you a crystal card. Oh, what crystal will actually maybe we'll get two. Okay, thank you. Maybe we'll get two because it is an eclipse and a blood moon. Okay, so this was the one that I was going to ask about the eclipse. So what about the energy of the blood moon? Which card will support the collective most during the energies of the blood moon? Hmm. I also heard practice humility lest you be shaken down to your own core. So, um, yeah, practice what you preach, I guess. That's integrity, and you need to be in line with integrity, cleansing. Okay. All right, yeah, so that makes sense because we've got rebirth, cleansing. The energy of the new moon is bringing up all the darkness. This one also is in shadow quite a bit. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense that you would want to use this crystal, which is shungite. I don't know if you have any of that, but if you don't, you can look up an image or print one off and you can meditate on the crystal's energy, vibration, frequency, on the attributes of it. You can look up all the attributes, but this is a great crystal also to be putting in your water if you do have any. So to make crystal water with it, it's not only grounding, but it's actually really good at cleansing the body. And this is a crystal that I was using to cleanse my body, especially at the beginning of my spiritual awakening, where I was letting go of a lot. But yeah, so totally makes sense that this would be the supportive crystal for the blood moon energy. And then for the solar eclipse energy, we've got balance. Yeah. So magnetite. That's a beautiful, beautiful. Why am I having a brain fart? Whatever this thing is called. Having a brain fart, people. It's probably because it's Friday. It's been a long week and I am tired today. But Mandela? Grid. Thank you. Thank you. I had to ask my ancestors there and guides. Okay, so balance, yeah, because this energy can feel really unsettling. You could have waves of feeling really good and things are going great. And maybe you're avoiding stuff, not dealing with it firsthand. And then all of a sudden it's like, bam, hello, you cannot be ignored. I cannot be ignored. I cannot be ignored. So maybe that's what's going on. There's a lot of this energy of like up and down and swings and feeling ungrounded and lots of things coming at you. Lots of energies, lots of people. The energy of this wild card, this extra energy around the moon is going to throw you out of balance. It's going to make you feel imbalanced, dysregulated, ungrounded. But It's important to recalibrate yourself, know your limits, know your capacity, and only deal with what you can. And then make sure that you're taking that time for yourself, right? So awesome. Okay. Those are very fitting. Now, for those of you who do not like swears, or you have little children around, or people who you do not want to hear swears, I'm going to be pulling from the Badass Affirmation deck. So this is your cue to either turn off the video here if you do not want to hear swears, or you can mute it or come back to it later. You can mute it and put on the subtitles, or you can come back to it later, or you can put on headphones. All right? All right. I felt like this energy was really requiring these affirmations today. So, because you're a super badass. I hope you know that. Like you are stronger than most people. If you're on this path, you need to recognize that within yourself. Your strengths. What everybody told you your weaknesses were are actually your strengths and your superpowers. That's a part of recognizing your talents, gifts, and abilities. I hope you know that. If you don't, let me be the first to tell you. I hope my camera's not cutting me out when I get really loud. In time, I will have a different camera, although this is kind of this is our dinner table as well as our, well, my workstation. So it's kind of the best setup that I can do right now for space. I live in a tiny home. I love my tiny home. I'm very grateful to have a home and a roof over my head and um, to have safety and security and love and peace. Not complaining, universe. But eventually, one day, I hope to have an office of my own. So then I don't have to take down my setup every single day. It's a lot of work. All right. We'll get a couple more for the collective. Give some badass affirmations for the collective, please. Yep. Uh-huh. Now, one more. Because in some respects, I feel like I'm just warming up. Could probably keep going, but I have to respect my own limits and boundaries and balance my own life, right? But I do love doing this. I absolutely love what I do. So it's really exciting for me. It supercharges me every time I get to come on and do a collective reading for you. So thanks for being here, by the way. Love your contribution of energy. Love that you're here. And I'm sending a ton of love and prosperity and energy to you and support. And I hope that you receive all the support and guidance that you need from your spirit team at this time in order to resolve all these issues or to bring balance to your life, security, happiness, joy. I I wish for you all of the abundance that exists in the universe. So, our first affirmation. Contrary to popular belief, I know exactly what I'm doing. Yeah, that sums it up, right? It's you who gets to decide, not other people, not your conditioning, not other people's beliefs that have been instilled in you, right? Not your cultural beliefs, not your societal beliefs, not your religious beliefs. It's you. You get to decide if that feels good, if it feels bad, if it feels right, if it doesn't, if it's aligned, if it's not, if it's your truth, if it's not, if it's false. I am thankful for my fucking amazing life. I am thankful for my fucking amazing life. All right. And feel free to pause the video and write these down if you'd like. There is a shit ton of happiness ahead of me. And I can say these now because my kids are not home until next week again, so I can say these out loud. I don't use these when they're home, but I do use them while I'm shooting during the day sometimes when they're at school or away. Happiness is a choice, and today I choose to be over the fucking top happy. Happiness is a choice, and today I choose to be over the fucking top happy. Claim it. Scream it on the rooftops, I just heard. All right. That brings a little bit of joy and happiness and fun into the reading, fun into your life, hopefully, if you enjoyed that too, or enjoyed this reading, it resonated with you, it helped you in any way, please consider giving me a thumbs up. It does help my algorithm out so that I can spread the word and share these readings with other people. And otherwise, if you're new here, welcome, welcome in. Feel free to join our beautiful collective, our Vibe Tribe. We got a lot going on here, as you can see. And for those of you returning, well, I just gave you my message of love. So all the support back to you. I love you very much. Thank you for being here again. And otherwise, I will see you in the next collective reading. Have a fabulous day. Bye for now.